Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Caro the motivator, and I hope you're really getting inspired and motivated. And this particular video today, I want it to go to each and every teenager out there. So there's just something about teenage life. There's exploring, there's discovering who you are, and we call it the age of identity versus confusion. You're really looking for who you are, but you're majorly confused. You try so many things, you try so many hangouts, you try different friends, you try even watching different stuff, but all the same, it gets you even more confused because you've really not found your identity. So that's the basis of this video. Just pressing on that key to let you know that you need to get to know who you are. You need to get to know your identity first before you try to put yourself out there. Just do the inside job and just try to ask yourself who you are, what you want out of this life, and then go advance there and stay along like-minded people who are going to force you to level up, people who are going to help you bring out the best in you. Yeah, so where do we start? I'll start by narrating to you this very interesting story that I learned in high school, and it has always carried the same message. The same weight it gave me that day I had it is still the same weight I have it up to date. So it's the moral of the story is run your race, which is still the headline. Yeah, you could be asking why I'm giving you the moral of the story before even giving you the story itself. So that's the okay. It's about running, but it's at the same time it's about the race of life. So there were these two guys that were running in the morning. So one guy was an athlete, and he used to do it every day like a habit, and he used to do it for his physical fitness. So every day at 5 a.m. he used to wake up, dress up for a race, and run a few kilometers around the blocks, and then he would come back, prepare himself, then go to work. One particular morning he was dressed and he was outside running as usual, and then there is this guy who was headed to work. He was not uh, he was not a person who was so invested in what he was doing. uh, he's a person who was easily carried off by things around him. So as he was going to work, he wasn't dressed in a suit, definitely. I'm not sure the particular job that this guy was going to. So when he was going to his work, he met this guy who was running, and he decided to run after him because this athlete came, and then he found him on the road and decided to overtake him and keep running. So this guy took it as an offense because he had left the guy like with so many kilometers, and he saw him coming out. So he was expecting that this athlete will not catch up with him. So he kept running and running, and this guy who was going to work decided to run after him. So they ran and ran and ran. This guy has ran out of breath. He's not even used to it. Maybe the last time he driven ran was some weeks or months ago. So he reached a point, and then he felt he was out of breath, and he had to stop. But the other guy continued running, the athlete. He kept running until he reached his destination, most definitely. So this guy stopped and wondered, yo, what was I even running after? Because he was going at a different direction. But when he saw this other guy running, he decided to match his pace and even show this running guy that he can even run much faster than him, or he can do it better than him. But this athlete was into his life. He was working on his habit. So this other guy was outdoing somebody who was not even in a race with him. He was running his own race. But then this other guy realized too late that he had wasted his time, he had wasted his effort, and he was running late to work. So it clicked in his mind that he had run into other people's businesses, neglecting his own and not even knowing what he was pursuing. So eventually, this guy learned a very important lesson. The other athlete guy didn't even realize what was going on, because like that was not even any of his business. You know the way these guys have earphones, they have some music motivating them, and they're just about minding their own business. So that guy just went on cool with his life. But then, what we learn from this story is that uh, people people just chase after what everybody else is doing, thinking that you're going to outdo the other person. But then you forget that that person is running their own race. They have their mission defined. Before they began their race, they knew that they had a starting point, they had a pathway to run through, and they had a destination. But when you come and see somebody else is doing something better than you want to outdo them, you want to show them that you're better at it. But then you forget that life is not always a competition. Yeah, it may be a competition, but not always. You don't always have to prove yourself to everybody around you. You don't have to show people that you're better than them. You don't so in short, you don't have to keep proving points to people. You just have to be you and just do your thing, you know. Like mostly teenagers, you're seeing your friend, maybe having some different clad than yours, some different gadgets, some different girl or even a guy, and all that stuff. There's so many things that we compare ourselves to other people, and we feel inferior just because we don't match their ability and skill. But I want to remind you that you got to run your own race. You got to stop in your tracks, and before you think of chasing after your friend or even your enemy or whoever it is, can you ask yourself why why this person is doing what they're doing? Maybe it gives them joy. Maybe they have a reason behind it. So get to know who you really are, and that marries with the idea of running your own race and having a mission before you get started in the race. Don't get into a race in the middle of it and then run to no destination. Define your limits. Know that I'm running from here to here, and the aim of this run is to get physically fit. And I want, you need to have a goal before you embark on anything. Don't chase the cloud. Don't try to fit. Don't try to get comfortable just because everybody else is doing it. You are you, and you can only be an original version of yourself. You try to be a photocopy of somebody, let me tell you, you're going to end up miserably, because you don't know why whoever is doing that even did it in the first place. Okay, so always, always, always be an original, and the way to be an original is having confidence in who you really are. Get your identity. Like in high school, I remember we used to do this SWOT analysis. You'd write SWOT. S for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. What are you so good at? Those are your strengths. You got to ask yourself, what can I do better than anybody else, and what satisfaction will that give to me? Does it make me happy? Does it make me better? Does it help me help the people around me? Those are your strengths. Your weaknesses are those things that you really try to do them, but you're not so good at them, you know. And your weaknesses, you don't run away from them, and you don't try to keep hiding them. You look for a way, for a possible way to work on them. Maybe in academics, because that's what your major focus is on. You can try to get somebody to help you through it. Opportunities, you have a very prime age right now. You're just starting to discover yourself. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Your age is something to maximize on. The opportunities that are coming your way in school, at home, in church, like there are so many opportunities that are coming, but you can only see them if you're optimistic. Optimistic, I mean you're positive minded, and if you're looking for opportunities, trust you me, you're going to see them. But when you keep thinking that you're not lucky enough, that opportunities are not meant for you, you'll never be lucky, because you don't think you're lucky. Okay, being opportunistic means that you'll always attract what you are. If you think that you can attain it, if you think that you can get the good out of whatever you're pursuing, then trust me, you're going to get it some way. Threats are the things that could be stopping you from reaching your goal. There are so many things that come in the way, like peer pressure, like what I've just told you, running other people's races, trying to be like somebody else, trying to be a photocopy of something you're not, and stuff like that. So define those threats and avoid them. Be careful. Even my wrong friends could be threats to you, so you need to define all those things about yourself and then know how to stick to your lane, because when you've done your SWOT analysis, you know who you are and you know where you don't want to be. You know who you want to hang with and who you don't want to hang with. So get your identity in check so that you don't fall into the temptation and into the category of being and doing what everybody else is doing. Just be you, do you, and remember that you can't be you when you've not mastered who you really are. Yeah, so I hope this video was very impactful to you. Don't just listen, go and do something about it. Look from within you. There are always solutions coming from within you. And if you need help, you can always get to somebody who you think has already mastered themselves. They'll help you, tell you how you to overcome some threats that you could be having or some fears that you could be facing. Yeah, so keep learning, keep growing, and keep becoming a better version of yourself. But don't you ever be a photocopy of anybody. See you in the next video.